Good afternoon. What a gorgeous, gorgeous afternoon. I'm live today. Happy to come on into the group today because I have a special guest with me. Everyone who meets this woman and everyone who talks about it actually raves about her. Pam Ella Hall. Just call you Ella, don't we?
Thank you. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah. Wonderful to be here. Thank
Ella is healer and sacred sexuality coach, and also you have started a wonderful movement for women with the Goddess InBody movement as well, so you're creator of that too.
Yeah, I mean, that's my heart.
Yeah, that's your heart. And the best bit is for those of you that are in Melbourne and you're in the Spotlight group here, and you're most welcome to bring friends and that, Ella is going to be speaking at our next meetup, which is May the 22nd. I'll tell you a little bit more about that one later, because we have a really interesting topic for that one. So I think people are really looking forward to that one, Ella.
Yeah, so am I. I'm really looking forward to it too.
Yeah, with the young there. What I think thought, that I wanted to get you on and talk in the group today about was, you have this catchphrase, and I just love it when I see you do it. It's about get your brave on.
Mm.
And what I want to do is talk about, because I see it with women in business and, even some men as well, but it's quite strong in women about, being a little scared or holding themselves back a bit in business. So I thought today we'd have a chat about that and just see where it goes. Anyone who comes on and you're listening, you're most welcome to join in our conversation. Ella always has this wonderful, wonderful talent of being really raw and letting her heart out. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'll also do a little bit of that and tell you some of my ups and downs as well. So we're going to do that. What I want to do first, Ella, though, is I just want to get into a little bit more in depth because I did a brief intro of who you are, but I want you to give us a little bit more in depth of what it is that you actually do or how you actually help, what your purpose is, your magic.
My magic. Firstly, hello humans. It's so wonderful to be here. Vanessa, love what you do and so grateful to be a part of it. So what I do and what I bring to the table is really, I actually say I work with the brave and I teach my own medicine. So when we're talking about brave and getting your brave on, we're just talking about the human condition. We have two options on this planet, whether we live in fear, a fear-based reality, or whether we choose love. And we just come from everything we do from that place. So my own experience and my own journey has led me to get my brave on in every area of my life. And it started about 5 years ago. I stepped away from working for the man and got my brave on and started my own business. And at the time, that was totally entrepreneurial, conscious business and lifestyle solutions. So firmly still planted in working with corporations, coming into the corporations and working through their structures through, it's not rocket science, but it's stuff that a lot of us don't do, especially in business, which is have a clear vision, be really, really clear about our purpose, and then empower everybody in the business from that place. So that's what I did for quite a while. And then my journey led me into Tantra. And when that channel was open for me, talk about getting your brave on, that was the scariest thing I'd ever done, was confront my own sacred sexuality and my own inner feminine. Because I'd grown up very guarded and working in a very masculine environment. I'd managed a martial arts academy for 6 years, and I was stuck in that paradigm of do, create, linear, very structured, and I was kind of drying up. So when I embraced the Tantra and learned how to weave and channel my life force energy, everything started to come online. My life started to transform. I was much more in alignment to my soul's mission on the planet. And this is what I live for, is to awaken other beings to that. Through tantric practice, through creating a movement for women called Goddess InBody, which I am so passionate about. Never thought I'd work with women, But I am, you know, because I'm teaching my own medicine. That was where it was for me. And yeah, it's just a journey, and it's ever deepening and unfolding, and the great mystery is just beginning.
Yeah, yeah, and I came from that very masculine background as well, with working in the mining industry. So it was, and I was the only woman in an entire team, men, and I had my little place and I had all the guys around me. So yeah, that's where I came from there to this as well. So I've had to learn how to, you know, to me, bring my feminine back as well and get that balance happening in my business and my life as well. So for me, it was often just retreating outside with my horses and animals. That was a start for me. It was just the very start to get out and do that. So yeah, I found this. I've been reading this. Have you read this one yet?
No, not yet. No, I've seen it around.
Elizabeth. Yeah, I got given this by the gorgeous people at Coach and Connect when I went down there to Melbourne. So one of the gifts that they gave me when I went down there to speak to all the coaches there was they gave me this Elizabeth Gilbert book, Big Magic. And I was reading through it this morning and I thought, oh, this is perfect. So I'm going to have a little read of this. And if anyone who wants to join with us and ask questions, please just do it. Ella and I will answer. We'll talk with you along the way. We're here just to have a chat. So I thought about, you know, because this Big Magic is very much about finding your magic. And I had a read of this. He asked his students to be brave. Without bravery, he instructed, they would never be able to realize the vaulting scope of their own capacities. Without bravery, they would never know the world as richly as it longs to be known. And without bravery, their lives would remain small, far smaller than they probably wanted their lives to be. And I had to think about that, and I was thinking about, you know, a lot of the people in our coaching and change-making business, because, you know, that's what we do. We change lives as well. You know, we help transform. And I was thinking how I watch a lot of people in that, and they remain probably smaller and don't release the magic that's in them. Because I actually believe that the magic is in all of us. So that's what I wanted to, just to bring up today, just as a starter. You know, how do you think we start to tap into the magic that is within us? How do we find that magic and then release it? And I do know that to find the magic is one thing, but to release it, and then you really have to step into not playing small anymore, but playing a little bit of a bigger game. That can be frightening, and it does take brave.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like there's so many sayings on the planet about, you know, it's not our darkness that scares us most, it's our own power, it's our own ability to create. We are all powerful creators here on this planet. And how big a game we wish to play is totally up to how brave we are willing to be. So, I mean, when a human comes to work with me, one of the greatest things ever is to align that beautiful human with their soul's purpose for being here. Because when you get the clarity around that, you can then start to take the next most obvious step. Yeah, and even if it's a small step, it's like almost when a soul rocks up on the planet in alignment to that which they are most meant to be doing, the universe just starts opening doors, and suddenly they find that they're receiving these opportunities left, right and center, because they are in total congruency and in integrity with what it is that they are here on the planet to be doing. The universe is conspiring with us all the time, not against us. So then it's up to us to keep tapping back into, well, sure, okay, this is challenging. Like, this is outside my comfort zone. How willing am I to nuzzle up, just to nuzzle up to that edge? Yeah? And
you do that so well. You do that so well.
Learning Tantra, because I started to understand what my life force energy was about. And then I could claim it and channel it in a positive and productive way through areas of my life. And that includes in the bedroom, in relationships, in family, in business, you know, and when that life force energy is being directed positively and you're aligned with that which most wants you, it's almost like that, let's call it static tension. It's that power of manifestation.
So how do you know when you've tapped into that? Like, how do you know when you
you feel the fear? That's how you know. If you're not scared, if you're living a comfortable life, then really ask yourself now, are you growing? Like, you've got to be feeling some sort of, oh shit, I'm like expanding. And if you're not, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
what is driving you? Like, tap into that passion, that inspiration. That's what I live for, is to really put beautiful humans back in touch with the way that they deeply desire to feel, so that everything aligns to that. So, for example, can I give you an example?
Yeah, go.
So last year I was looking at a huge whiteboard. It's just sitting here in front of me, and this whiteboard had all the things on it that I needed to get done in business, right? And I've got Tantra Ella, which is one part of my business. I've got Goddess InBody, which is another part. And then I've got Pam Ella, which is my professional coaching side, you know, like working one-on-one with clients. And there was all of these things: build a website, get a coach, get it. And I was just like coming up, sitting at a table over there every day, looking at this board, sapped, dry, in inertia, overwhelmed, just looking at it going, oh, fuck, I cannot do this. This is just, it's too much. So what I would do is then go into contraction. And that for me was numbing. It was avoiding. And I did that through food for a really, really long time. You know, some people watch TV, some people drink, some people do drugs. I've done all that as well. Some people have sex. Doesn't matter. Whatever you could do to get outside of yourself, to not focus on that which needs to be done, because the reality was, how it made me feel was shit. I felt contracted, resentful, overwhelmed, dry, anxious, all these things, confused. I didn't know where to begin. And then I was introduced to a beautiful woman called Danielle Laporte, who talks about goals with soul. And by the way, when I was looking at that board, I was so in my masculine energy, going, oh, fuck, all the to-do list. And when I listened to Danielle Laporte, she talks about goals with soul and says, how do you deeply want to feel? Take all the to-do list and just write down some feeling words. So I wrote down 1,000 feeling words about how I deeply wanted to feel. And they weren't like that. They were juicy, inspired, alive, aligned, creative, passionate, feminine, embodied, you know, all of these things. And the minute I cut those things out and stopped looking at the board and just said yes to everything that made me feel the way that those core desired feelings made me feel, I achieved everything on that board in 4 months, plus exceeded it in my feminine flow, married with my masculine energy. It was the mountain meets the river. I just got everything done with grace and ease and in joy. And then I look back and I'm like, fuck.
Yes, it's done. You did it.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the marriage.
Yeah. You know what? I remember when I started my coaching business, and I'd been working in the mining industry with all the guys for such I couldn't even do things like walk into a networking room, or in the intake weekend that we had for our coach training, I was so shy and so I couldn't even walk into the training room. You know, I had to wait for everyone to go sit down and then slip in the back and up the back. So for me, you know, the idea of I didn't have any options. You know, I wanted to create this coaching business because I didn't want to be going into town and having to work a 9-to-5 job. So I had no option but to get my brave on and actually just say, okay, so I'm shy, I'm an introvert, I don't do well in crowds and I don't do well with a lot of people, but somehow I've got to push past that. And it wasn't pushing past it, it was a case of finding that my vision for what I wanted, which is to stay home and be able to live and work from home with all my beautiful animals, you know, my Naughty, my galah you just saw earlier on, she's just sitting there, have my bunnies here or my horses outside, that vision became greater than my fear. And that's how I work to kind of get my brave on. And trust me, every day, don't feel, you know, that people think that, oh, you're so brimming in confidence. That's actually not true. Like, but just every day I just do what I need to do. I don't know if that works for everyone, but for me, it's just like, no, I'm not brimming with confidence, but every day I just do what I need to do. And it feels good that I actually do it because I'm working closer and closer and closer towards that soul goal, as you call it, as Danielle called.
Right, and the more clarity you have around your soul's purpose and what makes you feel really good, those core desired feelings, and that's what I love to do. That's what I basically strip away all the dogma, all the conditioning, the patterning, the behaviours, the shit that piles up, on top of us. And we think we are that, this identity self. We're not. What you are on the planet to do, Vanessa, you've tapped into that. It's your natural creative genius zone. And when you're at that place, everything just feels a little bit easier, right? Like even when it's scary, you're like, nah, but this is feeding my soul. Like it's feeding my vision. That's how I feel every day. Every day that I get up, I don't know what I'm doing half the time. Fuck. We're all humans doing the best we can with what we've got at any given time. But I tell you what, grunt up and I do the next most obvious thing that makes me feel that expansive thing. I align with my vision. I get really intentional. If you're not intentional every day, and it's not something you set an intention and then never think about it again, this is something you've got to recommit to, maybe sometimes minute to minute. You know, and as a past drug addict and everything an addict, you know, and this is someone who's had to really align with, no, that doesn't serve me anymore. What does make me feel really good is to be really clean and feel like everything I'm doing is getting me a little bit closer to being of service, to serve more people in a really positive and productive way where I'm channeling life force energy. And what happens is you just receive. You start learning how to give and receive that energy. If you're giving too much as well, you'll burn out. That's another thing.
Oh, absolutely. And I was just, I'm glad you brought that up because one thing that I find a lot with women coaches is their high nurturer comes into place. And then they're very good at just giving. And, you know, what can you do to say to help with that? Because I see it a lot. And then when you give too much, because you've been burnt out because of all you're giving and you feel like you're not giving anything in return. So I see that quite a bit, particularly with the women life coaches. That goes down a lot.
Oh, it goes down with women a lot, with humans in general, but definitely for the feminine. I mean, I kind of, we call them coping strategies, I guess, for life. And mine were either stuck in all control or stuck in people pleasing. So I would swing from one to the other. And that over giving is so detrimental when a woman or when a human is giving from an empty tank. Just as you said, Vanessa, you get feelings of resentment, bitterness.
You do.
You develop things like breast cancer and all the ailments of the heart because there's no nourishment. It's all going out. There's nothing coming back in. And a lot of the feminine embodiment work and practices that I do every day is about filling up that love tank, claiming that life force back for yourself, learning really friendly, firm, clear boundaries. That's brave. That is so brave. To actually say your fuck yes and your unashamed fuck no to the world is hugely brave, especially when you've never practiced it before. Yeah. Yes, in business, but it's in every area of your life as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I agree. I see so many people saying, yes. You know, I did do a lot of coach mentoring. And when I was doing the mentoring for one of the biggest coach training institutions, one of the things I would see new coaches coming through is making themselves available, you know, 24/7 for their client. And then they would be shocked when I would say, no, I don't work till noon. I don't start till noon. And then when it hits 4 o'clock and my daughter gets off the school bus, I stop. And then if I want to do a little bit more in the evening, you know, after she's gone to bed, I will. But there were those strict boundaries. And, you know, a lot of them found that quite shocking. And they were in the sense that, oh, but you're a coach, your clients know we're there when we're on, because otherwise what's going to happen is I'm going to get burnt out and be no use to anyone, and secondly start feeling resentful at all the people that are tugging at my strings.
Okay, so from there, you've just given everyone a beautiful example of what structure looks like, which is the masculine, right? The masculine is the structure. The feminine can flow within that structure. So you said between this hours and this hours, this is when I'm working, this is when I'm on, right? And that way you're doing that in joy. You're feeding your clients, you're getting fed. Obviously, abundance goes both ways. And then in downtime, you can really start to honor and nurture yourself and replenish and fill that love tank up as well. And that is a practice, see? Like, we have to learn this. It's like meditation or yoga. We've just got to practicing and keep fronting up to that, but taking the experiences as the gifts that they are, and every time we do overgive, go, okay, cool, I got that then. I'm not going to do that again. This time I'm going to come in from a different angle. Zoe Leishman, my beautiful sister, not blood sister, but you know her, she and I have created this thing called the Love Map, and it's a 7-week journey to fall in love with yourself, to be the one, to call in the one. And the Love Map's really about present and intentional dating and how to get really good at it. The only thing, I'm actually walking that map right now, so I'm like the best case study ever. And I tell you what, it's bringing up all my stuff. You never learn more about yourself as when you are actually actively out there in the world of connecting, being present with another being, and having to practice, well, what are my boundaries? Like, I went on a date the other night, we were up for 3 hours, too long. That's too long. I wasn't enjoying myself. So it's like, okay, now I'm going to go, because I want to do this. It's a practice, but let me have a structure. An hour. I'll catch up for coffee, not for dinner. That's too much.
I was just thinking, I wouldn't know, Ella. I've been on a date for 100 years. I wouldn't know what's too long for a date. I'm going, 3 hours? Is that too long, really?
Too long. Unless you're totally vibing, unless you're totally in alignment, you know?
Unless you're totally into him, is that what you're telling us?
Totally in alignment, like you can share some qualities and some values and some things which, you know, we did not share. We did not share, bless.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
I learned so much. It was gold. It was like a full gift. Like, you know, so I spent yesterday, like, you know, mapping out more stuff for the Love Map and journeying into myself and going, oh, wow, there's that old pattern. So I can now work through that. And, you know, where was I stuck in control? Where did my feminine overtake? And, you know, where could I marry them better for the next one?
Yeah, one thing I've noticed about you is you have such massive self-awareness, which is so admirable, because a lot of us don't. You know, we're just kind of running along on autopilot and, you know, we are what we are type thing. So I love the fact that you have this so much self-awareness. With the masculine and the feminine coming in business, and I love the sound of the Love Map, by the way. I've heard about it before, and that is just going to be amazing. So, yeah, very excited about this one. Jill has... Yeah, hi Jill. I'm glad you're listening, Jill. Join in if you want to. If you want to ask Ella a question or anything like that. One of the things that that I see with ladies in business, you know, whether they're doing coaching or they're doing something else, but one of the things I see quite a lot is either they're very much into the push and the drive and the masculine of trying to make things happen, you know, and structure, make things happen. Or else they're completely in the other side where they don't have any structure into their business at all, and they're just kind of, it's almost like they're floating around up in air waiting for everything to come together. But a business, to me, is really, really hard if it's just really airy-fairy with no concrete groundings and foundations and no structure. Yet when you are in that place, if you're too much into that grounding concrete structure, you then don't seem to release a lot of the to me, a lot of the magic of who you are, and you don't tend to do a lot of the connecting as well. I think connecting is one of the more beautiful feminine attributes that we can use in our businesses in connecting with others. What do you think is the best way for women in business to be able to bring that balance in so we can get a gorgeous combination? Like you said, I have the structure with my boundaries. But when I'm within those boundaries, I do actually feel in the flow. So when I'm on, you know, and I love that. Yeah.
Me too. Business makes me hot.
Yeah, I know. It's like, woo.
Structure makes me hot. Order makes me hot. The universe loves order. So the more ordered that we can be, the more flow we can have. So I guess the first thing that I'd be bringing up is the actual differences between the masculine and the feminine energies.
Okay, cool.
So that we can get really clear. So masculine energy is that drive, that push, that linear, the order, the foundations, the structure. The feminine, so imagine him as a mountain, okay? And then we've got the feminine who is the river, and she is flow, creativity, inspiration. She is the receptive. He's the drive, she's the receiver. So when those two forces come together and the river can marry with the mountain, those two forces become formidable, and they call in like, just when a man or a woman has both of those polarities coming together, brought into harmony, balance, huge balance, congruency, they're congruent with one another, and they are integrated, they're in integrity with one another, you are going to be, whether you're a man or a woman, the most potent, productive, charismatic, standing in your power, receptive, able to both give and receive with love. You'll be poised. You'll be in your queen or king essence. Yeah? So you're getting shit done with grace and ease. So gone is the push, the dry, the overgiving, this is shit fun, this is hard work. And instead it becomes this beautiful like play, a play of, you know, opening to creation energy to flow with what is.
I can definitely see the difference. Like I think if any, you know, for those of you listening to Ella's talking here, you will notice when you're in that push, drive manner, because I know I can, and you feel strained. You feel stress. You feel
like your body might be.
Yeah. And then you'll know when you're more in that flow. There's a sense of ease. And I'll admit really honestly that I can jump between the two quite a bit in my business journey. Yeah, like, you know, so we're not all perfect here. Please, if, you know, when you're watching, please don't think that we're perfect with this. I know that I do sometimes feel I'm in the push and then I have to pull myself back and I had to do that this morning, Ella. I went on my run and I was thinking of just, you know, I was feeling constrained. I've had a couple of big weeks and I was feeling quite constricted. And then I went on my run today and all of a sudden out there in nature on my run, and I just let it all go, all these gorgeous new creative ideas have come into my head about what's next. So I'm so excited. So I'm getting excited again.
Yeah. So this is the thing. It's like when we come out of our head, our identity self, and back into our bodies, our beautiful bodies, and we move, we sound, we make noise, and we breathe. Runs are perfect. God, you're breathing and moving, and you're in your body, and you're out of your head. This is where Goddess InBody came from. Just as well on the masculine feminine polarities, because they are. Like we live in a world of duality, right? We've got hot, we've got cold, we've got male, we've got female, we've got yin, yang, good, bad, all of that stuff. What I love about Tantra so much is that it brings everything back into the full spectrum. So there's no duality anymore. It just isness, so a woman's positive pole of energy is her heart. This is her like if she was a battery, this is the positive, Her negative pole is her yoni or vagina. okay? A man, his positive pole of energy is his base. It's his lingam or penis, yeah? His negative pole is his heart. So we're built upside down. So for a man to feel like productive and he's going to have to really activate through his base. And you actually warm a man up to get to his heart, yeah? For a woman, a lot of the women that we're talking about, who I've been one for a long, long time, totally stuck in that linear drive, do, and burning out, overgiving, people pleasing, all of that stuff, controlling, never letting anybody else in. I wouldn't, let anyone support me because they'd get it wrong. I was just like a control freak, and it wasn't fun. And my heart was so closed. It was so shut down and guarded. And a lot of these women who come and see me in that energy, they've had some deep wounding, or they're really, like, they've had to armor to be one of the boys. It's like, in order to get ahead in business, this is the masculine paradigm that the world has been living in, and the masculine have got us to where we are. And God bless you, men. We love you so much. You are so important and deserving, and you're Shivas, yeah? But the Shakti has in the past been suppressed. This is where, when sleeping women wake, mountains move. That's the catchphrase for Goddess InBody, or our quote that is an old Chinese proverb, and that's the truth. Because as women wake up, as the women come online and their hearts open, we open all of the world. We open men. We open our children. It's through the women that the healing is going to happen.
Look, one interesting thing too, like before, we won't take too much longer. We can talk forever. I know that. We can just go on and on and on about this. One of the things that I found that I used to do in the early days of my business, and really, to be honest, it's only been probably in the last 6 months that I've started opening up to it, is actually receiving.
Yes.
So, that was a big one for me. Like, I didn't really want help.
That's bright. And you've never received in your life. For me, I'll speak for me too, V. It is one of the scariest things ever. And some people
absolutely.
That's just easy. Well, it is if you practice at it. But if you've never let anyone in, then it is absolutely getting your brave on. Is to actually surrender. Is to not do when that's your natural want to do. Is to actually go, today I'm going to go outside and sit in a park and have a lunch break. Like, that's huge brave for me. Your brave is whatever it is for you, intrinsically to you, of what is unfamiliar.
Mm-hmm.
That's what brave on means. Well done to you, receiving.
Yeah, well, that was unfamiliar for me, was actually receiving. So, like, I get a lot of offers that would come through, and messages and that, and I completely shut down from even reading a lot of them, like, because I just didn't want to, I felt bombarded by it. But I just did some internal, opened up to receive deals, and then some I say yes to, but before I was really shut down to a lot of it. Had to do a bit of work around that area in the art of receiving, because I was not a very good receiver.
And that's beautiful, because that's what Tantra gave me. It really brought everything back into the giving and receiving. And I really just want to touch on what you said earlier about moving from being stuck in one gear to the polar opposite, which is like going from that masculine linear to the feminine, all flow, all creativity, all air. Because coming through this world for the last 6 years, I have worked with some incredible, incredible women, and who are mad creative creators. They're just incredible, incredible women. And they can't organise themselves out of a paper bag. And for me, that was I say that in absolute love. And
I know.
Yeah. But I found it really frustrating, because what that meant for me, being involved in their world, was that I couldn't soften into my feminine. Because without that masculine structure to hold the feminine, she does not feel safe and secure to open. And I feel that, or I know a lot of what I'm going to deem to be the conscious unconscious. They are so conscious that they are just off the planet, like they're not dealing with the human life here and now. So it's really important, everybody out there, if you are like magical and spiritual and everything, you still need to have one foot firmly in the matrix and one foot firmly out. You've got to use it against itself. You need to be also grounded here on the planet. Like, this is why I love business, because it gives me an avenue to really marry those two worlds. It's always about those two worlds being married, the masculine and feminine coming together, the matrix and the woo-woo coming together. I just love it. I just love bringing things together and integrating them. Integrity is the word for me. That's what drives everything I do in business, in relationships, everything.
Yeah, I mean, I see so many people, and when they come to me, you know, and particularly the ladies, when I see that their business, and, you know, I just work with the coaches and the change makers, when I see that they're struggling, I find that they're either in the air and they haven't grounded into any masculine structure. So when I say, oh, we've got to do a plan, they're like, a planning? No, I just want things to just flow for me. And I get that, because I like flow as well. But I need to have a plan, and I love the way that you said it. It holds. The planning, the structure, the masculine holds
and
the
when you do
feminine
that
in it.
yourself, when you actually can hold yourself and allow yourself to flow and receive, you are going to be unstoppable. Aligned to your soul values, and everything will flow from that place as you start to ignite and inspire your innate powers. They are. We all are on this planet with our own soul purpose. We just have to remember what that was. It's never gone, but remember it. And often it's piles and piles of conditioning and dogma, stories and rules that we have about ourselves and about others. This is why the inner work is so important. You've got to be the being to then do the action to have the result. And that goes in business, but in every area of your life. I've got 15% of battery, just letting you know. my feminine was in flow and my masculine wasn't holding space for her.
So Ella will be our special guest at this May the 22nd Spotlighters meetup. Now, Ella, you're going to be busting the myths of Tantra, because I have to admit, before I met you, you know, I really didn't have a clue what Tantra actually was. I always just associated it with Sting and his wife. For some reason, Tantra means Sting, whatever it is that they're up to all the time. And so I had no idea. Yeah, I had no idea. So you're actually going to come along. You're going to bust the myths of Tantra. And I think people are going to be really, really. I think there's a lot of misconceptions out there of what it actually is, and you're going to show them actually how they can actually use Tantra. So it's not all about, you know, you're going to actually bring it to us in another light as well, aren't you? In that meetup when you speak for them.
Absolutely. And the thing that I really need people to understand is I don't teach, I love Sting, Jill. I don't teach traditional Tantra. I practice Neo-Tantra, which is non-ejaculatory orgasmic Tantra. So really what I'll be exploring with people is like that everybody has access to it. And I cannot wait to blow people's minds with the fact that a lot of us are already tantric and we just don't even know we're doing it. So how to really capitalize on those gifts and awaken them further, and then start to channel and weave that energy into every area of your life. And watch what happens. I know. That magic will just start to, it's amazing.
Big magic.
Big magic. Big magic.
I know a lot of people are actually getting really excited to actually come and see you. I see a lot of people saying, oh, I can't wait for this one. So it's going to be good. I mean, we had Andrew Eggleton last month with the Spotlighters meetup in Melbourne, and you this month, and then we've got some great guests coming up. So, wow, lucky Melbourne people. It's such a shame I'm all the way out here in Whoop Whoop, because I wish I could come and show up for each of them as well to watch you all. Oh, I do miss out at times out here.
You're there in spirit, honey. You're never missing out.
I have my beautiful life here with all my animals. So like you're saying, I never miss out really. Where can we find you? And if people particularly want to get in touch with you, I know you have the Goddess InBody page, which is basically pretty much a woman's only though, isn't it, that one?
So there's a number of different ways. The best thing, if you are a woman who wants to find out more about marrying the two energies and bringing them together, or coming on board into claiming your brave and getting your brave on as part of the Goddess InBody tribe on Facebook, go to www.goddessinbody.com, and that way you can see the love map. You can see the immersion, which is really the full day where we go into these energies intimately and you get to know your feminine and masculine. I know that July's already started to book, and there's 3 early bird tickets, so I'm not sure if they're still there, but go there and check it out. You can do payment plans. And otherwise, if you want to come and see me for more tantric work or one-on-one coaching, you can go to www.tantraella.com. Or you can come to this meetup and I'll meet you as a human. That'd be great.
Yeah, if you're in Melbourne, go along and meet Ella in person, in the flesh, because I know that there's nothing you like better than actually meeting as humans, as you so beautifully put it.
Yeah.
And that's your favourite.
Let's do it.
Yeah, and I don't know if anyone heard that because my the sound went a bit funny just then as you were talking about, but Ella does have the Goddess InBody immersion, which next one you said was coming up in July, so that's a full day where you and it's really, I mean, from what I've heard from the feedback of those, they are massive, amazing transformational days, aren't they, from what I've heard about them.
Unbelievable. The women that come to that day, that is claiming you're brave. Like the transformation that happen for these beautiful women are just amazing.
Yeah, no, I've heard. And you've got some other goodies coming up as well. So you've got the love map coming up as well. When's the date for that one?
Yep, 7-week journey starting on the 6th of July. It's going to be in Abbotsford in Melbourne. Yeah. So present intentional dating and have been really good at it and really falling in love with yourself. Yeah. Also, I'd love to gift everybody here a copy of Take Back Your Power meditation, which has been, everything I do is channeled. So this is really powerful. I don't just love the sound of my own voice, even though I do have dulcet tones. No, it's really, really incredible.
You have an amazing voice. Like your voice, when I listen to you, it's when you switch into that voice, it's just amazing.
Oh, it's just opened up my channel and it all just comes through. So that's what I'd love to share with everybody here today. I'll make sure that V has all the links to everything.
Yeah, I'll put them all up.
Yeah, but I'm just so deeply grateful to share this time with you, and it's wonderful to know you, Vanessa. You're a woman after my own heart with all your animals. I've got Alan the turtle in the tank and fish and my 3 cockatiels over there that have been tweeting. So,
Dora the Explorer.
Yeah.
My little cockies over there, yeah, wandering around. Well, thank you so much. Like, I'm sure that, the meetup's going to be fabulous. So it's such a joy to have you as our guest speaker for the May meetup. So everyone come along to that and you can actually meet Ella in person. We have plenty of time, the guest speaker will speak, but you'll also have plenty of time for networking as well. Okie dokie, thank you. Hope you all enjoyed listening to Ella, and I'll put all the links up there for you to access. Bye-bye.